Ronnie Radke is one of the biggest, most controversial figures in all of rock over the last 10 years. And I'm joined this morning by probably his biggest fan on planet Earth. On YouTube, he's known as NotFamousKid, but his name in real life is Steven, just like mine. And he joins me here now. Steve, it's great to have you with me this morning. How are you?
Hey Steve, hey YouTube. I'm doing pretty good. Very, very well, thank you.
I told you he had an accent, folks. Steve, on your channel on YouTube, on NotFamousKid, as well as on your channel on Facebook, the whole thing, almost entirely, is dedicated to Ronnie Radke and how great he is. What can you tell us about what he means to you, and what's your favorite thing about him? Why do you look up to him so much?
Well, I think in a way I can relate to him. I can relate to getting let down by friends. I can relate to going through some hardships in your life, and the way he writes music and the way he sings music kind of brings you in, and there's a connection there. And I think that he's a very strong-minded person, and also I think that he's done a hell of a good job getting back on the map from being released from prison.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that because, you know, no matter what kind of music you're into, you can't help but appreciate the story itself. This is a guy who took an unknown upstart band at the time, Escape the Fate, took them from nowhere to being one of the biggest, most widely recognizable names in rock, and then left and then got sent to prison. Lots of conflicting reports about that, but he stayed there 2.5 years. Most people just don't come back from that. And yet here he is with a brand new album. I mean, you have to admire that.
Yeah, that's something special. That has to be something special that not many people have. I don't know if it was to do with his music or the things he said while he was in prison, but I think that describes Ronnie right down as a person. I know there's not many artists who would get locked away and the fans still waiting and still eager to listen to this music that's being brought out, and that's something special that he has right there.
What's your favorite song off of the new album?
I would have to say The Westerner. Westerner, because it's not just one thing focused. It's actually focusing on a range of things. It's focusing on how he grew up. It's focusing how he's dealt with being in prison, dealt with being hurt by friends, and it's got a whole variety of stuff, you know, and the more the better, I say.
I've got, you know, I think I have a lot of songs on there I really like, but what I really like overall is the tone of the whole album. It's kind of a mix of, you know, you got plenty of really, really hard, heavy-hitting songs, but you've also got plenty of really nice, melodic, more pop-oriented songs as well. So there's definitely something in there for everybody. Let's talk for a minute about you and how amazing your channel is. I did a commentary yesterday on one of your clips. Dude, you took a picture of yourself and threw it up there and put it next to a song, and you've got almost 5,000 hits. Come on. What's up with... What do you think about that?
I don't know, I just put a video out there, and it was a personal joke, you know, like it was a photo of me and Hello Kitty, and I wanted that photo to relate to the song. She touched me, I kissed her, blah blah blah.
Sure.
I thought it was meant to be a joke at first, and it just got views. And
well, no, you've got a lot of hits on that, and I think there's something about the picture itself. It kind of shows sort of a softer side of you, and I'm sure that all the ladies really like that. And by the way, one of the comments that I got from my commentary about that, they asked me to ask you about your hair and how you get it to look the way you do. So would you like to, what can you tell us about that?
Well, first of all, I've always had this thing in my head since I've been in this kind of rock scene and this kind of, you know, style-wise, and that's always be true to yourself. And for some strange reason, I've always had in my head, I have to have the sides long. It doesn't matter about the front bangs or the back. I like the sides to be long, and I don't know. It's just kind of more style basically. I just get layered on top, and
Uh-huh.
a bit short at the fringe, and I like to mess it on top a little bit.
Yeah.
But I always make sure I get it thinned out as well, and I'm actually going to be getting it thinned out pretty soon.
That's
No
cool.
length cut, a bit of length cut off, but not too much.
Do the flip. Do the flip. Yeah. There you go. Oh, God. Steve, I would kill to be able to do that. When I was coming up, it was a little bit different, but I had hair that was a little longer, not quite as long as yours, but back then it was the mullet. It was kind of the angled look where it was short on the front and the sides, but longer in the back, but I had it spiked up and all that. Motley Crue, sort of.
Yeah, Motley. Good
What-
band.
Well, let's talk about that. What are some of your favorite bands from the 80s, from that era? I know Motley's one of them. Do you have some others?
Yeah, Black Sabbath.
Yeah. Heck,
Like the Black Sabbath. But I'm mainly focused on Motley Crue for some strange reason. There's something about Nicky Six I adore.
no, you know what? I think if there's one band that would sum up that whole era, it would have to be the Crew, and I think there's a nice straight line that they give from that era to this one. I know that the Black Veil Brides and Escape the Fate, and I'm sure even Ronnie Radke himself and others that are really putting it out there now, I know look up to Motley Crue, and there's definitely a passing of the torch going on there. Let's talk for a minute. Okay, and that brings up something else. Escape the Fate has, on their website, they put up some new pictures of themselves without Max Green. You know he's left the band. Did you know that?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Well, and this kind of brings up a question. When they first got started, Ronnie and Max were probably the two most widely recognizable members of that band. Okay, and then Ronnie took them all away. And then they parted ways. Ronnie left, and Craig came on board. And that was kind of a bump in the road. But they got through it. Everybody moved on. The ones that didn't they picked up new fans and what have you. Well, now Max is gone, and it kind of brings up a question of how many changes can a band endure and still kind of retain their core identity. I mean, what do you think about that, Steve?
Well, I think first of all, like I said, you have to be true to yourself, and I can understand that they had to take Max away because he was becoming a really liability in the band.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great bass player, he's a great songwriter, and I just feel that Escape the Fate, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they know what they're doing, and even if it is one of their friends, I mean, I'm sure it'll be best for the band, you know, but who knows, they might make it more, or they might just fall, who knows.
You never know, but I tend to think of all of the people that they could have gotten to replace Max. They got T.J. Bell from Motionless in White. And I think of all the people they could have chosen, I think that was probably one of the very best choices because although they're not quite exactly the same sound, they're close enough that I think it's going to be a good fit, and I'll definitely be looking forward to the new material.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I don't listen to much, and you Escape the Fate for some time. I've listened to a few songs.
Sure.
But I hope that Max will be fine. I mean, people have to remember it's a person's life, an addiction that man's going through, and people have to realise that this is a human being and they shouldn't say anything negative towards that.
Well, and you know, the real strange thing here is in a very strange way, Max now could actually look up to Ronnie Radke because Ronnie kind of went through his own downtime and then he turned it around and got out of it. And I suppose the message there for Max would be that he could do the same thing. Do you suppose Ronnie could be in a position to reach out to Max now after all of this?
Well, I really couldn't tell you, Ronnie, but if it happens, let's just call it fate.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. We'll leave it at that, Steve. That was a good closing line. I really want to thank you for coming on board with me here. This has been amazing, Steve. I can't wait to put this video up here. I really, really appreciate the time. How about giving us one more hair flip as we go to the outtake?
Okay, you ready?
Yeah. Gug. All right, rock on. Once again, his real name is Steven. Check him out, NotFamousKid. And for me, I want to thank all of y'all for watching. I'll see everybody next time. Steve out. Rock on.